you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel.
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
Fight me. Woo! What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Welcome to Fight Me with myself, something I do regularly. Today, we're going to get into how soon is too soon to offer a child, like a 7th grader. What is the committable offer versus uncommittable offer? And why I know Nike is freaking out about Zion Williamson's blown wheel. But first, Lincoln Riley. Talking about his new quarterback, Oklahoma grad transfer, Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, was not the biggest star in attendance at OU Texas Saturday. You also had the Kyler Murray. You had Buddy Hield show up at 11 a.m. and then drop 34 on Oklahoma City. My goodness. And there's this great shot taken by my buddy John Hoover that got all of these folks into one shot. But why was all of this on display? You might have known that Oklahoma had its junior day, its second junior day, yesterday. Had a bunch of 2020 and 2021 recruits in to try to show them what it looks like at the Halladome of Heisman. 7 rings, 7 titles. Ariana taught me that's the best way to put these are a few of my favorite things. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but we put it in the bag. Big 12 championships, at least. That's kind of what it gets after here. Look, I like Junior Day because you get to show off what you've done for the past year. If you're Oklahoma, that's a lot. You get to show off back-to-back Heisman winners. You get to show off potentially back-to-back first-round draft picks. You get to have Kyler Murray talk to the media, local media, for the first time since the Orange Bowl. So it's really been about 2 months since Kyler Murray had anything to say to local media, and you can take that for what you want. But I love Junior Day most of all for the pictures that the kids put out on their Twitter feeds and the way that the assistant coaches get behind it, the way that Executive Director of Football Recruiting Annie Hansen gets to show out, because these are things for which she has a heavy hand in. Everybody at Oklahoma, they say, does a lot, but you also got guys like Zach Heffley, Zach, who are doing the most with digital content. As a matter of fact, I love watching the way this all comes together, and they do this a couple times a year. The next time you're going to see something like this will be the spring game, for which we will all be waiting to see the guy that Lincoln Riley was just asked about, Jalen Hurts, play in something that looks like a Sooner uniform. It obviously won't be what he's doing on August 31st against Houston. But more than that, what did the recruits have to say about it? Well, first, I'm going to tell you, my home skillet, my home fry, my guy, Brandon Drum's going to have you on OUinsider.com with the latest on there. If you're a VIP member, you already know what's up. But I can tell you from who I've spoken with, it went well. It went so well. A lot of folks are freaking out because Lincoln Riley used some new emojis last night. He used a green check mark instead of the eyes, and people are freaking out. Like, what does this even mean? That's awesome. All right? Everybody's going to find out what it means in due time, like everybody does. But the way that Lincoln can continue to make himself relevant, to make Oklahoma relevant to its fan base, to understand what people want and how they want it, I think that has been what I've been most excited about since Lincoln Riley became the head football coach at Oklahoma. Not so much the Heisman, although, you know, back-to-back, you're not going to pull down anything but my collar, right? The 4 straight Big 12 championships for which he's been a part of, man, let's see, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Yeah, Lincoln Riley's been a part of all of those. And now that you can bring about this kind of excitement in February, when not a whole lot of people really care about college football, and you get to see what recruiting looks like, and you get to understand what it is that Oklahoma is trying to sell in the same way that other programs are trying to sell themselves. You know, Oklahoma's not the only program with junior days, man. So it's not as if you don't have heavy competition to try to get these kids to come across the country on a particular day for a visit. You know, we talked about having Kendall Milton come through. He's going on a tour. You went to Texas on his tour. It's a 5-star running back. You also got other guys in the mix. You got guys like Jacoby Covington in the mix. But you also got 2021 guys like Kendrick Blackshear, who is 6'2", 245, and a 2021 prospect. That means he graduates in a couple of years. So to be that big, you're going to have that many folks staring at you and looking at you. And so for Oklahoma to get him on campus, it bodes well. It's kind of how I felt about Tunmise Adeleye, coming in January. So to see that this continues to build and the way that the recruiting operation continues to go, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. I'm also really interested in hearing more about Jalen Hurts as a leader, because I feel like last week all we did was talk about him squatting, and both Corey and I are gym freaks and gym rats, so we're geeking at the numbers and whatnot. And after that, we had Alabama fans come after me talking about, yo, Scott Cochran did that. All right, man. Scott Cochran is a strength coach at Alabama, and Scott Cochran didn't do much at all in the way of making Jalen Hurts strong, because as I said, the man was squatting like that in high school. But to know that he showed up to the game, made himself available, waved at folks, know that Kyler Murray showed up with his Heisman when he should probably be getting ready to go football only, as he's been saying, to know that you got to win. Having an Oklahoma men's basketball team that, quite frankly, ain't been great. And you could make a great argument that they kind of choked themselves to a win. Still good. Beating Texas, you know, you fans, it's always going to be good. 69, 67. It's like 42-28 at halftime, though. I don't know what to do with this basketball team. Sometimes when they play defense, I feel like, all right, they got a shot, and the Big 12 is loaded. You know, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Kansas. I don't know how I'm going to feel if Kansas gets beat by Kansas State for the Big 12 regular season title, because I was a sophomore in college the last time that Kansas did not win the Big 12 championship. I think Corey was out. Corey, when did you graduate from Oklahoma State?
2003. I'm sorry, 2006.
Wait, so which is it, 2003, 2006?
2006.
How you get confused?
I started in 2003. I'm getting old, man.
I mean, but I feel like all right, well.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, you saying that, but like, I don't want to make the hits to the head joke, but I want to make the hits to the head joke. I mean, I know you play line and whatnot, but, you know.
CTE, man, that's real.
Yo, well, see, and
that's
now.
My fantasy team name is CTE, by the way. Been that for 2 years.
Your fantasy team's name is CTE?
It's
Bro, all right, I got to extend this joke a little bit further, because y'all can't see this. I mean, y'all can't see me, really, unless you're watching a replay. And then, Corey, you got on Oklahoma State hat, so you making a CTE joke. We talk about hits to the head. You see where I'm going with that?
I see where you're going. I'm with you.
Are you mad at me?
No, not in the slightest.
Okay, all right. Corey. Wait, all right. So my fantasy football team name is Andre Crim's Tofu. I wonder how many people get that reference. Do you get that reference?
I'm lost.
You not a necessary roughness kind of dude?
Man, necessary roughness. That's 80. That's Scott Bakula, huh?
That's like 92, but yeah, it's Scott Bakula. Yeah. And Sinbad.
Yep.
And Jason Bateman as the coldest movie running back of all time. Fight me. I'm off Miggett. You know, I'm off of him. Y'all try to bring this longest yard dude up to me. Jason Bateman could not be tackled in necessary roughness, all right? Be running all over LL Cool J from any given Sunday. It's Sunday. Man, I love Sunday. Look, you know what else I love? I love Trey's Bar and Grill. It's run by my buddy Travis. Today is his birthday. He sponsors the show. Shout out to Travis. Trey's Bar and Grill is located at 108th and Memorial. It's voted Tulsa's best burger. Features award-winning chili. They got 11 TVs. It's the home of the Tulsa Steelers Fanatics. Whenever I go over there, I have the Shiner cheer, because he is the only place in town that has it, and now I am corrupted by it. Every time I go there, it's all I want to drink. Trey's Bar and Grill. Check them out on Instagram or Facebook. Tell them RJ sent you. When we come back, we're going to talk about one middle schooler who apparently is good enough to be a Michigan man. According to Khakis Jim Harbaugh, this Fight Me with R.J. Young on the Animal. We'll be back. Fight Me.
When I was in the 7th grade, the biggest challenge was getting on the right school bus. But Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh has one local 13-year-old already thinking about college football.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Isaiah Marshall is a 13-year-old 7th grader.
Yeah, and see, that's what the problem was.
Exactly. That is exactly what the problem was. Man, I love that clip. Look, what had happened was Jim Harbaugh watched a little film of a quarterback in MacArthur Academy in Southfield, Michigan. Quarterback, Isaiah Marshall, as you heard, has all the tools. I watched the tape. The kid can play. And then Harbaugh says, hey, I like this kid. Let me talk to his dad. Dad happened to be one of the coaches of the team. Gave him a phone call. I said, I would like to offer your 13-year-old 7th grader a scholarship to the University of Michigan to be a Michigan man. Yo, bro, Isaiah Marshall is class of 2024. Okay? Last segment, I was just talking about youngins at 2021. 13 is 13. 13 is what we're offering major college football. Okay, I guess Harbaugh did it for the same reasons that you do almost anything, is to make news, to make headlines. Becoming the first Power 5 football team to offer a 7th grader. So we think, who knows, Barry Switzer era, I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't put it past Switzer to offer a 3-year-old if he thought the dude could play. I wouldn't put it past him. That's how you want players. You need players. We're trying to get them out. We're trying to out-recruit everybody. Problem with this, I think, it is that it underscores this arms race that is getting out of control. That we're offering kids this early means that Isaiah Marshall has this pressure on him for the next 5 years of his life. No matter how he develops, would he still be a quarterback by the time he graduated? Who knows? If he was recruited by someone else and he is an in-state offer, what happens if he decides that he wants to go to Ohio State? I don't think that would go over well, especially seeing as Khakis offered him as a 13-year-old and was the first guy to extend an offer. But is that offer committable? That was what I would like to know. I would like to know if the 13-year-old received the offer and the 13-year-old and his parents said, cool, we're committed. Is Harbaugh going to accept that commitment? You know, we're going to talk about this a bit in segment 3 about the committable offer and what that all means. But it also means that you put some market value on a 13-year-old. And please believe, a scholarship is assigning value to an individual. Tuition and fees at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, run $16,000 a year, give or take, if you're in state, and $51,000 in change if you're out of state. Which means that you assign this kid a value of about $16,000. Knowing that the publicity and exposure from just extending him the offer is probably worth that and more. Especially as he continues to develop, and by all accounts and looking at his game, he will. And now I'm going to get into my soapbox, which is pay the kids. Now, I'm not saying you got to pay recruits, but I wouldn't be against it if we found a way. I want to see people rewarded for their labor. And if they happen to be able to do the job at a very early age, they should be compensated at a very early age. We see this system work notably in European soccer, where we have academy systems, raise up pups. Sometimes they end up with a big club. Most of the time they end up playing for somebody else professionally. And there's a system in place that takes care of them. You can also learn a trade or end up with some manner of a vocational skill if that's what you want to do while you're in the academy. In the United States, we ain't got nothing like that. In the United States, we got lottery tickets. I call them lottery tickets because that's what it means to get a scholarship offer to play football. You hit the lottery. And now you're trying to hit the lottery once more to get into the league. And when we're talking about the top recruits in the country, for which you can reference the Rivals 250 if you want to. You can reference the ESPN 300 if you want to. You can reference the 24/7 composite. The point is, each one of those kids that is ranked highly with 4 or 5 stars next to their name is being slated as the future of the NFL. That's what 5-star means. It means that you are expected to go early, to leave school early, 3 years in, as soon as you are eligible, and be drafted in the first round, because that is the projection of your talent. Now, whether or not you develop, we all know how that looks. We can all name 5-star talents that did not end up going in the first round. But the fact of the matter is, the universities still get quite a bit. They get the player that they want. They get one of the most talented football players in the entire country. And they get 3 years of that dude in their jerseys, in their gear, on TV, repping them. And yes, there are things for which you sign away your life, your likeness. You don't get to profit on any of that. That's all on the school. That's all on the athletic department. I don't necessarily think that's cool, man. I wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. Why should we make the kids like it? And like I said, assigning the market value to them is exactly what you're doing. You're saying you're worth this amount of money to us every year because that's what it costs to go to school there. When we all know that 1 year of Kyler Murray is worth 7 figures, okay? Period. To the University of Oklahoma. 1 year of Cam Newton at Auburn is also worth 7 figures, especially knowing that Cam Newton not only won the Heisman Trophy and is probably one of the best college football players of all time, but also won Auburn a national championship. And then you get to say that an alumnus, I think he graduated. I'm pretty sure he graduated. Well, a guy that played at Auburn University won the NFL MVP and took his team to a 15-1 season and played in a Super Bowl. That is worth its weight in gold. And last time I checked, Cam Newton is not a small human being. He is 260 pounds, 6'5", of awesome, of almighty, for which folks were paying whatever they needed to pay to watch him play football. And now that Isaiah Marshall is being considered one of the best 7th graders in the country, yeah, that's worth something to Michigan. It's also worth something to the team that he's playing on because he plays on a travel football team that goes around, plays the best in the country, and they compete for titles. I'm not necessarily convinced that this should go on. And if the NCAA can do anything about it, yeah, stop coaches from offering kids before their junior year, if that's what you want to do. But the problem with that is we know that that probably ain't going to happen. You can continue to kick the can down the road, and we can make jokes about Lane Kiffin offering a kid who's still in the womb, which he did as a joke. And we can also make jokes about the guys that we knew that had offers in 5th grade because they were so good. But that you only get to play this game for a limited amount of time. That you only get to play this game as long as you are good. I don't think we give enough credit to. I don't think we underscore that enough. I don't think we underscore that this lottery ticket actually means winning the Powerball. Because the average salary of an NFL player last year is $2.1 million. Now, there are guys that are making way more than that, and there are guys that are making way less than that. But if that's the average, and you turn out to be an average NFL player, yeah, you're a millionaire twice over, and then some. I think the money makes people itchy. It makes people mad. They're going to come into the comments of YouTube video that I make or on Twitter or call into the show and say, hey, man, I don't want to hear you talk about money. Well, then you don't want to hear me talk about sports, okay? This is something that you pay money for. Season tickets cost an arm and a leg. But some of y'all are willing to pay it because it's worth that to you. And it's worth that to you because the University of Oklahoma's football program is awesome. Now, we're going to get into more about recruiting and the committable offer coming out of the next break. Before we go into it, kidfolk, I got to tell you about the presenting sponsor of my show, Fight Me with RJ Young, American Putter Company, where they make custom putters and custom head covers. which is awesome. All right? I got this really awesome Molin Labe, slicked out CV's Pactum Parabellum Spartan-S putter coming. It's going to be my Zephos, which is short sword. Stay woke, fam. And you can go there and you can get literally anything you can think of made into a head cover, put on a putter, any way you want to do it. If you tell them at checkout, RJ Young, you get 10% off of your purchase. And when we're talking about a $600 putter, that's like $60. All right? It's worth it. When we come back, we'll talk about the committable offer and one story of a high school coach who ain't gonna let Alabama come into his place. And that is awesome because of the story behind it. We'll be right back. This is RJ Young on Fight Me in the Animal. Fight Me.
Give us the Alabama story. You can't tease me like that, Coach. Give us some details. So why is Alabama not allowed to show up at school?
You just said there's some dude coming on at 8:15 or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, but if you give me a good Alabama recruiting story, he's bumped. So go ahead.
No, it happened like this. Okay, so that spring, everybody's coming in on Brandon Harris. They found him. The highlight film, he's phenomenal. They're coming to watch spring practice, and so Nessmeyer and Napier come in, assistant coaches from Alabama. Both do a great job of recruiting. They love the guy. Hey, coach, we want to offer Brandon. I'm like, okay, good. How many quarterbacks have you offered so far? About 6 or 7. Oh, I said, okay, so you really haven't offered anybody. Well, coach, really an offer for us at quarterback is really an offer to come to camp. I said, okay, I understand what you're saying. I understand you offering these kids to go meet Nick Saban. That's a big deal. And he might go. I said, but what I'm telling Brandon is, you only have so much money and so much time to spend. Hey, go to the schools that have you at the top of the board. Ohio State has said you're number 1 on our board, okay? Ole Miss has said you're number 1. Texas A&M, LSU wasn't in yet. Cam hadn't come yet. So all these other schools, Baylor, a lot of these schools have said, you're number 1. Auburn, we want you right now. We want you to lead our recruiting class. We want to try to get some of these great athletes out of Louisiana to come with you over here. And we want you to come, and you're our guy. And if you have a committable offer. And so that's what I'm telling this guy. And so Napier goes back, and he said, after watching Brandon in the spring game, he said, man, he's phenomenal. He calls me the next day, Coach, I got some good news for you. Tell Brandon to call me on this phone during the period, and I'll put Nick Saban on the phone. So we do that, and Nick Saban says, Brandon, you have a scholarship at the University of Alabama. Oh, Coach, great. That's big. That's really big, So they gave him a scholarship offer. So this is a committable offer, okay? Then, we Skype Nick Saban on my computer here a while later. We're talking to him, and he's talking about, hey, we want you to come to campus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. We want you to come during this camp. Yeah, sure. We need to come to campus. Got it. So he goes, and by the time he gets to campus in June, I'm not saying Brandon was going to commit to Alabama. I really don't know. I just know that wasn't an option. Basically, what they told him at that point was, hey, look, we got other guys that's going to come through here that I promised them a shot, and so I got to wait and see them. And so he comes back home. Yes, sir. He's just playing along and comes back home and then read on the internet that they've taken a commitment from somebody else. And all I'm saying is this. It's like, okay, if you offer Justin Rogers today and he doesn't commit, I understand that offer might not be good years from now. But if you offer him, you're making a committable offer. And I made him make the distinction between a committable offer and just an offer to come to camp. If you make a committable offer, at some point, that offer needs to be there needs to be a window where my guy can say, yes, I'll take that offer, and we're done. And that never happened with Brandon. It was just the lure, dangling him coming to camp and competing against other guys. And so, you know what? It's like, okay, maybe I'm playing too hard. I don't know, 4 years later. But I don't want him on campus. I don't want him making those kind of offers to any of the rest of my guys. And my guys know they can go to Alabama. Marshall's been to Alabama a couple of times watching ball games and talking to him. If he wants to go to Alabama, he can go, and I'm going to pull for him, no doubt. I'm just not going to help Alabama recruit my guys.
They can go to Alabama, but high school football coach David Feaster is not going to help Alabama recruit. This was from ESPN Baton Rouge 104.5 off the bench 2 years ago, 2017, as Feaster was recounting how number 5 dual threat quarterback at the time, Brandon Harris, kind of sort of got an offer, but it wasn't a committable offer. And a committable offer is what we're talking about in this segment. Look, some offers are just invitations to things like what Oklahoma just put on yesterday, a junior day, or camp. You got to work out to earn your offer, to quote, earn your offer. Which, man, if I was that kid's parents, I'd be so hot and we would just cross it off the list because that's not how we want to do business. I understand that that's how some other folks want to do business, though, and that's also just the way that this sometimes happens because folks who are really deep into the weeds on OU fandom remember that Eric Swinson had his offer pulled from Michigan. Yes, it had his offer pulled from Michigan, from my man Patrick Masick's, his Valhalla, after being committed for 2 years, and then he ends up going where he ends up going, for those of you that want to eat on that joke. But this kind of thing sort of does happen. You just find somebody that you want better, but you try to quietly just kind of inform them they should probably take trips elsewhere and try to get themselves flipped or landed somewhere else, and you won't hear about a kid decommitting. You'll just hear about him, quote-unquote, flipping his commitment, and then the narrative becomes that the kid, he was never in anyway. Well, sometimes there's extenuating circumstances to these things, and I think this is interesting to get into because Ross Dellinger at Sports Illustrated actually put some numbers to how many offers go out. And this is getting back into what I was talking about in the first and second segment of what's the line here, man? 1/5 of Power 5 teams handed out at least 300 offers this cycle, right? For classes that don't often really exceed 25. 300 offers. Yeah, Tennessee and Syracuse send out more than 440 offers in this cycle. Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, and how many, what are we talking about? We're talking about 100,000+ scholarship offers to fill 12,000 available scholarships. The numbers are just ridiculous because everybody wants to be in, sure, but not all offers are equal. So some of these are just, hey, I get to say I have an Alabama offer. I have a Texas offer. I have a Michigan offer. I have insert blue blood here as an offer. And maybe that helps you down the road secure your spot at a place where, well, you're a little bit more of a high value. You're a little more of a high value target, a high value prospect. But this cannot continue to go on. Because if everybody's got an offer, what does an offer actually mean? Is it like being at a restaurant? Is it like your reservation doesn't mean anything until you get there? Corey, you ever had call ahead waiting at a restaurant?
Yep.
You ever got there and they said, we don't have your spot, or you're going to have to wait an hour?
Yes.
I hate that.
Multiple times.
I crossed those people off my list. I don't go there anymore because what's the point? Call ahead is supposed to make me feel better about having a spot. Like I'm thinking ahead. I'm doing the math. I'm helping the restaurant by calling ahead and saying, look, we plan to be there at this time. I'm going to be there at this time. Now, if I don't show up, we can talk about penalties, right? Most people, when they call the pizza place, first thing the pizza place asks you if you want delivery is, what's your phone number? Because if you don't pick up your pizza or you stiff us, we're not going to let you order no more pizza, right? I don't understand why this is hard for some folks to figure out here, man. I mean, Nick Saban and Alabama, they sent out 203 offers in 2015. Last year, they sent out 287. For what? 20 spots? Come on, man. Who here believes that this is a good idea? If you do, I encourage you to call the station and fight me because I'm going to dunk on you. There's no way you can be okay with being a part of 300 other kids for 25 spots. Offer a kid you like. And if the kid accepts your offer, he commits to you, keep your word. But that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear that a kid is being a kid. And you know what? They're allowed. If that's what happens, if a child changes his mind, that's the price of doing business for me, okay? 16 and 17-year-olds change their minds. Most people with those in their house right now can say the same. When you were 16 or you were 17, you thought you wanted to go somewhere for college, and then you learned the math. You either could not afford out-of-state tuition, or your parents said, I'll pay for you to go to XYZ. I will not pay for you to go to CWE. Okay? It's not hard, man. Now, the Division I Council has brought this. It's been on their table, and it's been tabled. You know, I don't know why this is the thing that gets tabled, but they can push through the redshirt rule. We can talk about giving kids the opportunity to play 4 games before they redshirt, but we can't talk about not being allowed to offer a kid before September 1st of their junior year. That would mean the offers mean something. That would mean you would not have any more of this story that happened earlier in the week, reported by my buddy David Ubben for The Athletic, about a fake recruit being listed in the Rivals and 24/7 composite base. Because you would be able to suss it out. It'd be much easier to just talk to a high school football coach, talk to the kid, see who they're in contact with to verify that they have an offer. But in this case, where the fake recruit had an offer to Tennessee, it's not hard to believe that because they send out 440 offers. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. Do your due diligence. Check your math, right? Don't be sloppy. But on the other hand, Tennessee sent out 440 offers. How many of those are committable? I mean, I'm honestly asking here, how many of 440 offers are committable? Like, who are you? What? Did you offer somebody's dog? Huh? Did you offer another child that's in the womb? Probably. And if you're Jeremy Pruitt and you're going around telling everybody that my team is garbage and that anybody could play for them right now, you lost your team, number one. And now you're going, okay, it's a free-for-all over there at Tennessee. Maybe I want to go somewhere where they're being just a little bit more judicious, where I can form a relationship with everybody and I won't be meat at the market. It's bothersome to me. Corey, how many offers do you have? You remember?
13.
13 offers. Do you remember off the top of your head?
Most of them.
Okay, who stuck out to you?
Clemson, Nebraska, UCLA, Michigan State.
Who was the head coach at Clemson when you got offered?
Shoot. He was the Bowden.
Okay, Terry Bowden?
Terry Bowden.
Did anybody of those offers feel like they were just yanking your chain, like they offered you to offer you?
Definitely Michigan State, and I felt like Nebraska too.
How'd you get that sense?
They came in super late, and they were just nonchalant about it. Like, hey, we'd love to have you, but if you don't come, then, you know, it's all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a real, like, we need you.
So you got Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shot across the bow. That was definitely me taking a shot. Got Josh Jacobs. You know? Look, when that kind of thing can happen, I wouldn't have faulted Corey for committing to Michigan State and then saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Oklahoma State. Why? Because the joke's on you now. You know, it's just shady and salty and mean. It's mean. Because, yeah, you're signing the market value, but for a kid, I'm going to use Michigan because I know the total instead of Michigan State, from Louisiana, like Corey, that's $51,000 a year to go to the University of Michigan. As opposed to what? Maybe if you're like me, right? You might have thought about it. Be like, it's Michigan or it's Michigan State. What are my chances of cashing that other lottery ticket, going to the league? You know, now Corey made it happen. You know, 2-star recruit that made good, but that ain't everybody's story. Some folks, the first offer is going to be the biggest offer because it's the first people that actually, you know, acknowledge that you are worthwhile to recruit. But outside of that, you know, I'm thinking to myself, if LSU came in late, Bama came in late, would I want to do it? Yeah, because it makes good NFL sense, but I'd really have to think about it. Sometimes it can work out, you beat Josh Jacobs, sometimes it doesn't, and you end up David Cornwell out in Nevada. All right? When we come back, we're going to talk about the lion named Zion and why I know Nike is freaking out about him blowing a wheel. But first, I'm going to send y'all to the break, tell you about Steve Bullard at McGraw Realtors. My bad, Steve. I'm eating these Girl Scout cookies, so he got me on one right now. I'm thinking about Girl Scout cookies when I should be thinking about houses, but I'm leaving Steve to do that because he is my favorite realtor. And you can give him a call. You can follow him on Twitter at Steve Bullard. Steve is the homie. Also, the only guy that is probably down with the Manny Machado deal to the Padres because he's a Padres fan. Hope you don't mind me putting you out there like that, Steve, because I just did. When we come back, the Lion named Zion Williamson, 6'7", 285 pounds, plays basketball. My goodness. This is RJ Young. Fight me on the animal. Fight me.
Well, knowing what I know now, college is bull. College basketball, NCAA is bull. So, my advice to him is do what's best for you and your family. But obviously, college is, you can't really, it does nothing for you at this point. You've proven you're, the number one pick coming out. You've proven your talent. Get ready for the next level. It's happening.
That was Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins, on Zion Williamson blowing out his shoe, spraining his knee via the worldwide leader, ESPN, calling it BS, the NCAA and the system. Yo, man, I get it. I totally get it. And I also know that Nike gets it because not only did their stock drop, right, and credit Jay Williams, look, 1.37% drop the next morning after Duke, North Carolina, which is probably going to be the most watched regular season game of the year. That share price for them is about $3 billion against their $130 billion market cap. Okay? So it's not a small chunk of change. But it's Nike, and you feel like they'd be okay. But then they release a statement. We are obviously concerned and want to wish Zion a speedy recovery. The quality and performance of our products are of utmost importance. While this is an isolated occurrence, we are working to identify the issue. Point there for me is isolated occurrence. Because I'm willing to bet 6'7", 285 pound lion named Zion needs a custom shoe. And you know that he needs a custom shoe because he is going to be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft, and y'all are going to try to sign him to a shoe deal. So whatever it is you got to do with Duke to make it work, to get that dude the size 38 shoe that he needs, and to make it conform, then you're going to go do that. Or at least that's what I would think. And we're also talking about a guy who has repped different sets of shoes for Nike, okay? He's worn the Kyrie 5s. He's worn the Adapt BB, the auto-lacing shoe. And, of course, he's worn the PG 2.5, for which Paul George called up Nike and said, what gives? The dude blew out his shoe in my shoes. Y'all messing with my money, Nike. Y'all messing with my money. Now, he ain't put it like that. That's me. That's how I would have put it. Now, publicly, he's like, yeah, I want to know what's going on. I want to wish him recovery and, whoop-de-whoop. But I'd have been like, get him in somebody else's shoes or get him in a custom pair of my shoes. Because we're talking about $44 million for this dude if he goes #1 overall for the rookie scale, all right? And what else are we talking about? We're talking about Nike doing its market research. Look, I live the ramen life from time to time. I would be the man at the casino at the penny slots. As, they used to come around, they serve drinks. They serve like wine and beer beverages and whatnot. I'd be the dude going, water, right over here, please, sir. Because money is like that. So because money is like that, I download the apps where they pay you loot to take surveys. Okay? And I make sure that I try to get, $5 worth of 50-cent, 25-cent surveys on the app, on the regular. Because money is money like y'all, right? Wherever you can make it, however you can make it, get it how you live, hustle for it. One of the polls that I got sent to me, surveys, was all about how concerned are you about Zion Williamson's foot and his shoe? And it was asking me really specific questions like, did you know that Zion Williamson blew out his shoe? And then it got real specific because they know enough about me now to be like, which shoe did he blow out in? And they tried to serve me up like some retro 5s, of course the PGs. They tried to serve me up to Kyrie's, and then they tried to serve me up like the Dwayne Wade Converse or whatever. And I'm like, Converse trying to get in on this. And I'm like, nah, I know which one it is. So the fact that they're sending those out to services that look for people to take surveys about events, about the way they shop, about their lifestyles, about what's going on with them, tells me they are for real upset and for real freaking out about Zion Williamson and his blown wheel. And you know they should be, because it's in their best interest to try to make everybody feel okay about this. But it ain't the shoe that we're all worried about. It ain't really his knee, because we found out later he's going to be all right. But it's like what Boogie said. If he was not able to play again, that's his future. That's gone. Right? If it's a catastrophic injury, not everybody is Paul George. Not everybody's going to hit that stanchion and come back and have an MVP caliber season. And saying love of the game versus money are not two mutually exclusive conversations. They exist in the same realm. You can love the game and still preserve yourself for playing for money. Because as the Joker said, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And you're assigning the man a market value when you give him a scholarship to play 1 year of basketball at Duke University. And the numbers are such that it's like ridiculous. It's 50 grand out of state to go to Duke for a year. And you know what? It ain't like my man was going to be going there on in-state tuition in the first place. You're renting him. And you're renting him for so far under market value. What are you saying? He gets to be coached by Coach K? Big deal. He could be coached by who? You want to throw Steve Kerr in there? You want to throw Popovich in there? Huh? The man is going to end up playing on a USA men's basketball team at some point, so that means that somebody worthwhile is going to coach him. He's going to get it. There are people that would be lining up to coach this man for free that get paid money to do it because they know being associated with them helps them build their own brand. So don't tell me that Duke is doing something for Zion. TV cameras will follow him just like they found LeBron in high school, okay? When you're that good, you're that talented, when you look like a for real offensive lineman with a 42-inch vert, we're going to find you. And Nike knows it. So why don't you? Why are you still pretending that this farce that is amateurism is good for the athlete and not bad for the athlete? Why are you still pretending that it's okay for some head coaches to get paid $5 million a year and for kids to get paid nothing at all? Why are you pretending that it was okay for Kyler Murray to essentially play football for nothing? It's not. I would say the same thing for you. You're not going to work for free unless that's how the business is built and you don't have a better opportunity to get along. If you were going to get paid to play college football, Corey, what do you think your market value would have been in 2003?
For a scholarship at Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
I'm thinking right around 50,000.
Okay. It's going to be a little bit less than that.
Think so?
Yeah. How much do you think you're worth?
At that point, I think I was worth freshman, 2-star. To them, probably 10,000.
Okay. And by the time you end up being projected to play in the league, what are you worth?
Seeing as how they had me on commercials and all that stuff before the senior year, they started marketing me, I'd probably say 75,000 to 100,000. Pay
that out, right? And this gets to my point. Would you rather have the degree or would you rather have the loot?
The loot.
Yeah, who would rather have the degree? Like, that's kind of my thing.
You go to college to figure out what you're going to do in life and how you're going to make your money.
You go to college to get a job.
Exactly.
It ain't figured out it's to get a job. If you can get a job without going to college, that's what you should do. Because only thing you have to do as an adult is get loot, get this money. I'm telling y'all, I'm out here filling out surveys because I'm trying to get this loot. I don't have a master's in professional writing to fill out surveys. You know, I mean, that's not what we're here to do. We're here to get this money. And let's stop pretending that the children shouldn't be compensated for helping us all get this money. And if you're directly benefiting, you have the responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of in every way possible. That ain't what everybody's doing, though. What we got folks doing is saying, nah, man, scholarship, diploma, gonna carry you for the rest of your life. No, loot does. Money. Okay? If you have a great idea and you put that idea into action, yeah, you're gonna make loot, whether or not you got a degree. People want to point to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a great idea, and he kept building on that idea. Mark Zuckerberg had a great idea, and he kept building on that idea. If you can make it happen, then make it happen, which is why Zion Williamson is not going to come back to Duke after a year. Because that scholarship and that Duke diploma ain't worth what the NBA is. So stop coming to my door and telling me about scholarships and how much valuable they are, more valuable they are than anything else. More valuable to you, fine, whatever. That's you. Maybe where you're from, loot doesn't really matter that much. But for those of us that work for a living, nah, man. We're always arguing with ourselves about, should I be going back to school? If I'm going back to school, why should I go back to school? Because I can't get to the place I want to get to in my job. Because my job said the prerequisite for the gig that you want is a college diploma. And to make matters worse, it ain't got to be in what you are doing. If you are good at sales, it doesn't matter that your degree is in petroleum engineering. Okay? If you are actually the kind of person that goes and can dig holes in the ground and say, I think there's oil there, you don't need the petroleum engineering degree. I put it back toward sports owners, billionaires, or people that own billion-dollar pieces. I guess call them toys, especially when I'm thinking about Jerry Jones. That's who I got in my head right now. Jerry Jones didn't go to school to run the Dallas Cowboys. And it shows. Because he's trash. He's actual garbage as a GM. I hate it.
3 Super Bowls.
Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. Jimmy more than Barry. But you know what? Jimmy Johnson didn't get a degree in football. Matter of fact, hey, Corey, how many football coaches got degrees in football?
0.
How many football coaches can you name off the top of your head that got $1 million contracts?
A bunch.
Right. So what are we really talking about here? We're talking about hurting your feelings. We're talking about hurting the feelings of the people who believe that their degree is worth more than what they had to pay in student loans for it. Well, I'm here to tell you as a person with student loans, nah, man. If somebody would have told me what my life would have looked like when I was 31, nah. There would be no going after a PhD. There would be no master's in professional writing. Probably would not be a bachelor's degree in exercise science or English from the University of Tulsa. None of that. Didn't know what I was doing, and I was stupid, and I panicked, which is what we're all doing at some point or some other opportunity. Some of us are braver. Some of us know what we want. These kids are those. They're braver, and they know what they want, and they're very, very good at it. Compensate them accordingly. Shout out to the sponsors. Trey's Bar and Grill. TheFanStop.com. OU T-shirt of the month club. Use my name. 10% off your purchase. My bro, Steve Bullard at McGraw Realtors. The homie. We're going to see if we can't get RJ up out of this, this garbage studio. And of course, American Putter Company. Just had my back from the very beginning. It's an awesome company. Never thought that I would be talking about golf on the radio. Never thought that I would be here. But from a piece of cardio equipment, talking about Baker Mayfield planting a flag, to Fight Me with RJ Young on KYAL, the sports animal. Shout out to the bosses who believe in me. And you who are listening live, who believe in me too. That is Corey Hilliard in the booth doing the doggone thing. We'll be back here next week at 10 a.m. sharp. We're going to take you to church. We out.